Hi, I'm Becky Amble, and I want to show you something about how you can maybe maximize your time, become a little bit more efficient when you are putting together some information. Could be for a blog, it could be for social media, be for a presentation, could be any number of things. One of the things I wanted to show you is, of course, I'm working on another book, the four revenue strategies or expansion model, and there's four different ones that people talk about in general terms, but they don't maybe have all the pieces. And I thought, well, gosh, I've reviewed this model and used it for a long time, and maybe there's something here I can put together. So what did I do? Pulled my notes that I had in print, and I had already gone through all my computer files and uploaded that to one of my AIs and said, consolidate this, put it all together. Well, then what I did was I took what I like to do on my phone is I usually like to go to my word process or my Yahoo email, because that's the one I use on my phone. But go to my email, and then I like to dictate things. Now, the other thing you could do, obviously, is go to your phone and you get your utilities, and you would go to your voice messaging, and you could just record something. So my idea here was I wanted to go through my file and pick out the key things and get that dictated and add that to the other documents that I already had that were saved on my computer in word processing files. So the first thing is use your phone when you can. And then what I did with that is I took the document and I put it into Chat GPT, and I said, organize this, because I had the four main things that I wanted to cover. And obviously, when you're going through a file folder, you don't necessarily have things where bullet point number one is all together and topic number two is all together and things like that. So I put it together and I said, now I'm talking about market penetration, and I would talk about that. And then I would go through probably the other three. Then I might find another spot where I had pros and cons. So I would say, here's the pros and cons for product development. So I would always put the heading before I got into the specifics. Anyway, just something to maybe help you save some time. And then, like I said, I went to Chat GPT, and I think maybe I'll just show you that kind of quickly here. So let's share the screen now and see what I can show you. Alrighty. First thing, let us go over here to Chat GPT, and I'm just going to show you the basics. And I need to go back because, of course, it's now in a different place. Alrighty, let's go down. All right. So I took the information that I had in my, in this case, an email that I sent to myself with my dictation that I did, frankly, last night when I was sitting in my bed. And here is all the information. You can see this was quite a bit of information. All of this, I will just highlight it and go down. This is all that I dictated into my email. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of information. And then what I said, let's show you what I also gave as the prompt. I said, oh, okay, where was my prompt? Probably right at the beginning of this part. So I said to him, you are great at organizing information. Take these notes and organize it into four main categories of, the four categories. There may be some errors in my dictation. If you can correct them, fine. Otherwise, keep them in and I'll correct them after you organize the information. So for me, it was a huge time saver where I had different pieces of paper and diagrams and things that I had used to prepare for speaking engagements and stuff like that, that I could just go through and somewhat randomly put the information together and then have ChatGPT organize it, which, hey, saved me time. Let's just go take a look at it. So again, there's four strategies, and here's the one. It says, okay, here's the core tactics, here's the pros and cons, and some examples, because I gave it my examples that I had used in other speaking engagements. Anyway, my whole point is this is one way that you can probably save some time by dictation and by then using ChatGPT to put this together. Well, the other thing I thought is, there's lots of times that we do something in a meeting where we've got information that maybe would be useful to put into a document of some sort, an article, a blog, a seminar, whatever you might want to do. One of the things you can do then is you can also go to your Zoom account if you have a Zoom account, and you can look under profile. You can really look anywhere. As you can see over here on the left of my screen, there's a whole list of things. Well, one of the things you can do is you can go down, you can say recording and transcripts, and you can go and find a meeting that you had run. And a lot of times there's information that would be useful. And one of the ones that I went back to, just to show you, yes, wasn't I looking perky that day? Anyhow, one of the things that I had when I was with one of my mentor clients, the mentee, in other words, was he's writing a book. And so I know at least one of the times we put together a conversation to talk about the book. Well, one of the things that I could go back and do is I could go here, and I have pulled up the replay, and over on the right side is our audio transcript. Now I can go and highlight all of this and copy and paste it into a document. I could then go back to ChatGPT and have it organize, analyze, do whatever. Like this was book talk, and I have a lot of people ask me about book writing. So I thought, well, maybe one of these days I'll put together an ebook or a checklist or something. I could go back and find the conversations that I have recorded in Zoom and basically get that information. That's one way to do it. The other way that you can do it is you can go to, and let me see over here. Let me back this up. You can also, okay, there it is. You can download your files from a Zoom meeting. And let me show you what that looks like really quickly here, because that's a little bit different. Let me pull up my downloads. All right, I think you can see that. So you can see how these from Zoom download into 4 different files. And the first 3 that show up here, and I think they usually come in this order, are MP4s, and an MP4 is a video. Now the other one is a VTT file, and that's something that then you can use to transfer into another type of document. So if I went here, I could open this, and well, I'm not sure if it'll work this way. We'll try it. Okay, and then I could pick how I want it to translate. Well, the best option here is to have it go into Notepad, and it does that, and it comes out a little bit clunky. But again, if you're just trying to get the text and put it into ChatGPT, or you can see what that text looks like. If I want to just have the text of a meeting, and then I can put it in ChatGPT and I can say, organize this and summarize it, give me the action items, all of that. Or I can use this in this case if I'm thinking, hey, how many times have I talked about how to write a book? Well, maybe I can get all that information and have it organized. Well, that's how you would do that. So there's just a couple ideas about how you could save yourself some time. Ew, that's so awful. We don't want to look at that. That's an idea of how you could save some time. Record on your phone in a couple different ways, by sending yourself an email or by using the recording device that's built into your phone. And if you have meetings that you've recorded, you can go get the transcripts of that. There's different ways. If you have a recording option like Fathom or Read or Otter, that's already done for you. I just want to give you some ideas on how you could take information that you have and turn it into something else and do it in a way that's relatively efficient. So think about that for content, for blogs, articles, presentations, anything that you might need. Oh, I want to show you one more thing. And this is where I think ChatGPT and a lot of the LLMs are really getting so much more helpful, I guess would be the word. Maybe let me just show you here. This was pretty fun, I thought. I got, and again, here I'm talking about the 4 revenue strategies. If you're wondering what I'm scrolling past, it's called the Market Expansion Model by Anshoff. Anyway, then it said, do you want me to make a clean 2x2 matrix? So this is, if you just visualize in your head a plus in the middle of a piece of paper, there is now 4 boxes created by that. That's what the model comes out as. So I said, well, sure, give me that. So it did that. Now I'm probably not going to use it, or I'd have to go in and modify, because it's got some things in there that I probably wouldn't use in a speaking engagement. Then it said, do you want me to put this into a PowerPoint presentation? Well, what the heck? Why not? I thought, let me see what that looks like. I'll save that somewhere. And then it said, how about, would you like me to do it with a cover slide? Maybe I'll highlight this. And you can see it says a cover slide and a conclusion slide. So it's presentation ready. And I thought, I don't really have a need for that right now, but hey, why don't I have it do it? Let me see what it looks like. And at least I can have that and save it. And then it said, would you like a nice PDF as a handout? Well, just let me show you quickly here. Here is the first thing that it said was, do you want a PowerPoint of the model? And now you can see that there's basically four, it doesn't have the lines in, but you can see it's basically four chunks of information, and did that really, really well. And then when it asked, well, do you want me to put it into a presentation with a cover slide and all of that? And I thought, all right, go for it. Because, oh, what's it take? Like a minute or something? So here's the cover slide that just basically says what I'm going to talk about. And then we've got the four elements of the model and then key takeaways. Well, I thought, well, this is really great because it summarized things. Now you can see there's some problems with this, and I wouldn't use it exactly as this. It gives me a great start though. And let's just see if I can pull up. Do I have the PDF here? Let's see if I have the PDF. Okay, and so here's where it's offered to make me a PDF, and I'm thinking, all right, just go for it. You almost feel like you're talking to a human assistant sometimes, where it comes back and says, would you like me to do this for you? Would you like me to do this? And I'm like, yeah, hey, heck yeah, go do it. And you can see then if I wanted to do this as a presentation and have a handout, I basically have it ready to go. Now, is it perfect? Probably not. When I do some editing, probably. And look at how much time this would save me by putting together this information. And again, remember, this was my information. The model is not one that I created. I've known about it for years and years. I have all this stuff that I've researched over time and put into my paper file folder, and used it and dictated and basically said, here's all my stuff, put it together. Anyway, just wanted to give you that. I guess that took a little bit longer than I had planned, but I wanted to show you all these different pieces of how you could dictate, how you could get that translated for you or put together in ChatGPT. If you've had meetings where you want to get the information, you can go right to Zoom if you're doing Zoom meetings, and you can go right to Zoom and get the recording and the replay and do whatever you want with it. And then how you can take it and put it into another element using ChatGPT, where it put it into a presentation and handout and all that. Anyway, think of all the fun things that you can do using AI to save you time and get things done faster. And like I said, use your content, use your brain, use your information. And it certainly is fine to do additional research and supplement, because of course, that's what I've got in my file folder, is lots of research on things that I've pulled. Thanks a lot, and we will see you next time. And if you do any of this kind of stuff, drop me a note and let me know. I'd love to hear that this was something